we're highly visual animals, right? Unlike most animals, because most animals use smell, we use vision. We're very strange that way. And vision is associated with enlightenment and illumination and with the breaking of the dawn and with the coming of the new day and all of that. So for light to be created is associated in some sense with the emergence of conscious being. And so that's another echo of that notion. And the particular phrasing of the story also is important because it's again that God said, right? So that's the use of that word. And that's the active element of the structure that gives order to chaos. It's something like that. So it's like the spirit of the structure manifests itself and produces the fundamental divisions of experience. That's what's being presented here. And God separated the light from the darkness and called the light day and the darkness he called night. And again, the fact that things are named is also very important. So you see this later with Adam because God gives Adam the job of naming all the animals, and it's sort of like the animals don't actually exist in some sense till they're named. And that's another indication of the authors of the Bible's attempt to come to terms with the fact that our cognitive faculties and our ability to speak have something to do with the way that we cast chaotic potential into actuality, right? Because we can't really get a grip on something before we have a name for it, which is why, for example, you all have names, and everything that you encounter has to have a name, because before it has a name, it's just kind of part of the blurry background. It's something like that. And you could say it exists before it has a name, and that's true, but it's also true that it doesn't exist before it has a name. Because as soon as you give something a name, its nature changes and you've transformed it into something that's not so much mere potential anymore, but it's at least on its way to being actuality. And so the act of naming is repeated continually in the first chapters of the Bible, and the reason for that is this continued emphasis on the importance of consciousness and conscious articulation and speech. You know, you can say that we're just like ants on this little trivial planet out on the edge of one of 100 million galaxies, and that what's happening here has no cosmic significance. But that's an arbitrary proposition, you know? I mean, we're very complicated things, and whatever's going on this planet has to do with conscious reality. And the transformations of consciousness, for all we know, might be the most important things that happen everywhere. There's no reason to consider consciousness a trivial phenomenon. I mean, it's taken 3.5 billion years for you to develop the brain that you've developed. And human beings are amazing creatures. I mean, just a casual walk through YouTube. What's that? Yeah, parkour, man. That stuff's unbelievable, you know? I mean, human beings are crazy.